Well, this one's a fun one here. We have with us the Abby Hallows, my wife, and we are on site. Are you excited about this one, Abby?
I'm excited.
So, I am not. I am a better loan officer than like whatever this is, podcaster. I've said this many times, but Abby is. This is not her favorite thing. So here we are, and we're on site. We actually tried this like a month ago, and it didn't really work. And I thought it would be more fun because, and it's we are relatively private people. Yeah. But we also, I feel it's important. At least I feel it's important. I hope you.
No, it's great. Yeah, it's great. It is important. Yeah.
That we've done a lot of things with real estate, and I don't just do real estate as my job. But in 2010, we bought our first home. We did an FHA loan. We had very little money, and we, luckily, and I will fully disclose this, like real estate was a lot cheaper 13 years ago than it is right now. And interest rates, we'll not get into all that right now. But we moved into our first townhome, we painted the whole thing. So there you go. That's like the first, hey, this is getting off on a bad foot. But remember, we were looking at, do you remember this, that we were looking at different townhomes and you really liked, I always give you kind of crap because you liked the one that was like painted up real nice.
Yeah. And it was more expensive.
It was like $30,000 more. It's like the same floor plan. And I'm just like, honey, we'll paint it. So what do? We
painted the entire thing
and did some wallpaper.
And it was tall walls.
Tall wall. Yeah. It was, we had to borrow ladders. Did we borrow ladders? Yeah. We borrowed ladders from our previous landlord.
Yep.
I think.
It was a lot of work, but that was just the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to get close to the mic too. Watch those levels here, dear. So, and then we kept that and we moved up in 2012. We were looking at, I was talking with my realtor partners and doing presentations and saying 2012 is the time. It's so cheap, and it worked out. And we moved up and kept that house. And so that was kind of just the start of us kind of rolling into building an investment portfolio and renovating.
Yep.
What do you want to add to that? As far as now, when I was start talking about that, because I think I always just thought, hey, like with my background in lending, like we should buy a house, but you turn it into a rental and things like what, I don't know, your family hadn't come from that necessarily. My family hadn't come from that. What were your thoughts about that?
To me, it was nerve-wracking diving into it and not doing the typical sell, use that money, put towards your own home, and you have more liability and debt. And so it was through the process, I mostly trusted you since you've been in the industry with it all.
Yeah. And I think initially, like I really, because of that level and the kind of sensitivity, like we weren't making a lot or anything. Like we'd actually pay, like we weren't even in the black necessarily on that first rental, as we were just basically covering the mortgage. And after adding like HOA and some repairs and things, and I'd be the one doing repairs, like we didn't really make any money. I think the value on the property went down a little bit. Like 2010 to 2012 values were still going down a little bit. I know that all sounds like a nice thing right now, everybody. So it's like, oh, back in the day. But slowly we've gotten you more involved. Yep. You're not, what's the meatiest thing I've asked you to do on a property?
Before this one?
Before this one.
Well, when we renovated our home, living in a complete construction zone with toddlers, with little kids.
Yeah. And that wasn't a renovation. That was, we had done an insurance, we had a leak.
Yeah, minor flood.
We had and then when I was getting the quotes and everything, I was like, shoot, let's just take the money and renovate this place, and did a lot more stretch bang for buck. And I never tiled before, and I did like 1,200 square feet of wood plank tile. And anyone who's rented that property from us now will know that you probably caught your toe on several spots. But so that was a lot. And a lot of it maybe hasn't been direct, but it has been sacrifice from a family standpoint. Yeah. And like inevitably you get calls on weekends. Or I get calls on weekends, and it's like, it's better now that I think that we've gotten to a better cash position on a lot of things, that we've built out the services. And that's what we've talked about before, is that if you know, like, hey, here's the plumber, give them a call, they'll come fix things. Here's the HVAC guy. That's been huge. So I guess maybe some passing advice as we talk about this, and a long kind of intro into, like, we just thought we'd talk about our experience, as we have lots of friends, lots of clients and community that think like, hey, if you want to make it in Flagstaff, like maybe you just can't run like just the simple clock in, clock out gig, right? You got to sometimes have the side gig, and I'm not really good at driving Uber or something. So you got to go with different side gigs here. We have Eric on next week. He'll talk to us all about side gigs. Yeah, he did. Sorry, preface for everybody. Yeah, he just like, if you ever watch YouTube videos on the side hustles and like, oh, let's do vending machines and candy machines. He's done all that. You know that?
No, I did not.
The dog washing, the dog washing, or it was a dog wash, or like pick up the yard or something. He did something with dog. We'll talk all about it with him, but he had to like let it go because it was getting too big.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
All while being a NAUPD and now real estate agent. Anyways, so we'll talk about this one here first. But yeah, so the side hustle, and on we were also talking that, and then we're re-recording this because we want you to talk more on, like, do you hate or love real estate right now? And we'll talk about the current project. So the current project that we've done is, and we're sitting here in our in a home that we acquired about a year ago in Sedona, and did a remodel on it. And it was supposed to be like, hey, quick 2 to 3 month remodel.
When we first walked in, it was, let's do paint.
A little paint and flooring.
A little bit of paint and flooring. We'll be done in a couple months. It'll be rented out by fall.
Yeah.
And yeah, we got the demo done in a week, or less than a week. It was pretty quick, the entire house. 2 weeks.
You're forgetting. She's forgetting. We had this flooring over there. Was they had a living room of wood. It was like engineered hardwood, glued, probably from the 70s or 80s, glued to the concrete floor, glued to the slab.
We had
that took like
help.
2 weeks.
Friends help.
Took 2 weeks. My flooring guy, when he saw what we were doing, said that ruins friendships and families. Luckily, this hasn't ruined families just yet. So, but then I now, and as far as cash flow, it went the other direction, because this has gone like 10 months, right? We are turning this over to property managers next week. Monday.
Count out.
Because we were wanting to manage, we were going to manage ourselves. And if you watch this, and I kept telling my friend Renee, I'm like, hey, you got to just manage it yourself. And with the renovation going like way longer than it was supposed to, we've decided to try professional management this round. So we manage our own long terms, but we're going professional management this round, and it's going to save my marriage.
Well, it was a burnout.
It was a big burnout. So let's talk about it though, in a couple of things, because I know, and I've said this to several friends, like I did bamboozle you. We got a lot of quotes on things, and then I decided to try and cut some corners, save some costs.
I still remember feeding the kids breakfast, and you come down and you're like, I think you just have to paint the entire thing. I think you just got to do it. You're going to do it.
I canceled the painter, or I did the painter on the outside. Don't talk to us about that. It's a sore subject, because we went through some. Sedona has And this is not legal advice on anything, but Sedona has chroma codes. So we found out that you have to paint certain exteriors. So that threw us off on our skiing. We painted one direction. It was horribly ugly. Black looks good on Pinterest, but not on a house in Sedona. Do you agree with me on that finally now?
Yeah, it wasn't the best.
Oh, you guys, it was horrible. I think it could look cool maybe on some accent stuff in Flagstaff, just because it's like darker forest. No, because there's tan all around you.
Yeah.
We've done okay, guys. But we gotta get closer here. Sorry, you're out of the camera angle. Make sure you keep your mic. Okay, so so I canceled some of the trades because we thought, hey, I'll buy you a paint gun on Amazon. Super excited about that. Spent some date night paint nights. We spent a lot of time. Won't give you too much of the tour here. I posted some pictures on Facebook earlier, but did a lot of work. What was the hardest thing for you?
I think overall, just for me as a mom, dividing my time between traveling down to Sedona multiple times a week during the day, having a toddler, having kids in school, bouncing back and forth, learning to paint cabinets, learning the correct way of doing that.
But
and I have amazing friends that have been my saving grace through all of this.
Shout out Lindsay and Hey.
Yeah, definitely. So I just think
good Kyle shout out too.
Yeah, definitely. It was amazing. So I think just juggling and not getting discouraged.
There's a lot of life.
Because the square footage of this, what's the square footage of this house?
It's 2,600 square feet.
2,600 square feet. And I have painted every single square inch of this house.
Yeah, every single door trim.
And I don't say that to brag. I say that.
You're proud of it though.
Yes, I'm proud of it. But to know, like, when you're getting into something, you think it's going to happen quick. It's going to go fast.
And like it's the HGTV where it's like, oh, and like next day, and it's like a couple minutes pass, and like no, it's like you come in, and that's the hard part. Like when we came in, like my schedule on the renovation was like, oh, we'll just do this project this day and this project the next day, and they're like, no, this project something goes wrong in it. You got to fix it. You got to run back to the hardware store. You got to wait for something. And then that all of a sudden goes like 5 days.
Well, and then also when we were getting paint and picking up paint for this house, there was a shortage of because we did the navy blue. You can see it in the background. We did the navy blue on the cabinets. We did the navy blue on doors, trim, and they're out of the deep, dark base paint that I need. So then I'm scrambling. I'm looking in Phoenix. Having my mom pick up cans of paint in Phoenix so I can come up to Flagstaff and get them mixed.
And probably to our friends that are in the trades, they're just probably like laughing at this in the sense of like, oh, that's just life, it's just the traffic you deal with. But we know those things. So and then we learned a lot about paint. You really owned all the paint. And it's gorgeous. It looks gorgeous, guys. Yeah. If I move the camera and pan and everything, I'd probably set it down wrong. But like you have to redo a lot of things. Like you're like, hey, I did my best, and then you and Haley would come look at it and tell me that it sucked, and I'd have to redo it. Not have to, like I'd agree with you, and then gosh, I gotta redo it. So I think that's the other factor is like you learn like, hey, when you spray, you sprayed a lot of the doors, and then you said, oh, and then I did brush work to clean up just afterwards, and the sheen goes on different.
And then I have to repaint all the doors.
And you have to then just re-roll all the doors anyways. Yep. Again, all our friends that are painters in the trades just say, yeah, we knew that. But we learned that too now. So anyways, it's I think, so we are on the front, like long-term investments. They are, I think they're a great starter for a lot of people to kind of dip their toe. It's harder in the current market to cash flow on long term. I think there's a lot of ethical or not ethical. Is that ethics? Yeah, there's a lot of ethical things. So when you're like, hey, especially in Flagstaff, housing is such a shortage and there's such a need that I believe in long-term rentals. I really do. I believe in housing, providing it. I believe in home ownership, right? But I know there's lots of like, there's here in Sedona as well, and in Flagstaff, there's lots of feelings and opinions and politics around short-term, long-term, different things. But we'll see how this works as something where we feel like we're property owners. We want to use this to our highest and best ability and provide. We love staying in Airbnbs.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what motivated it. We would stay in a particular Airbnb that actually just made us really excited. Like it had a lot of cool stuff in it and they'd done it really up nice. And so that's what we kind of got excited.
Or we go back and stay at the same place.
Yeah.
And so we're hoping that that's what comes out of this place for people.
And people have great memories. They get fun ideas on things that we did here. And that's the hard part too, is I would recommend to people to like, it's hard for Abby to rein me in sometimes, but you got to rein each other in. Like I had so many visions like, we just got to do this. It'll be awesome.
And we're 48 hours and there's still a couple visions that come up right now and then.
What do you mean? 48 hours?
48 hours till we turn it over.
Oh, yeah, exactly. No, but like doing like, hey, there's a shed. Oh, we're going to tear out all the shelves in the shed and put like a really cool bike. See, I'll show. Oh, I wonder if you can see this. You should show pictures. I don't know. This will be really janky, probably to show on my phone. But like we did, I was really proud with the kids. Like we wanted to get the kids involved. The kids did a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They've watched a lot of TV here as well. all things said honestly. But like, we wanted to create a really cool, with this shed, like a spot to put mountain bikes, right? Because we love mountain biking. And when we go to places and stay at Airbnbs and you just got to throw them all in the garage, right? We wanted to have a cool spot with some big hangers and things. So I don't know if you can see this here, but like, is it going to focus or not? It's not going to focus, but there's the bikes. Oh, there we go. It doesn't have
your tool stand up.
It does.
Oh, it does.
Yeah. So you can see that what we did is we painted that black and then we took a Dremel and had the kids just draw some topo. I helped them out a little bit, but just drew some kind of topo maps in there. It's got some big bike hangers. There's a tool stand right there. So just like some fun stuff, right? Try to just be a little extra here and there. But it does cut like there's like 2 weekends just alone in that in that project alone. So yeah, again, we're on the front side of this one, right? We've been doing long-term rental for over a decade. It's manageable. It's worked out. Markets have done well. And I really just believe in housing and that side of things. But this we'll have to see. We'll have to see on how it works with property management or if it's something we end up wanting to take over from management and do ourselves. I know a lot of friends do get like, it seems like you hear everyone say, oh, my long-term or my short-term rental does so well. And if they self-manage, they say it does so well. And it's not that hard, but they get burnt out. I don't know. Do you see that?
Yeah, definitely.
And so
we're hoping to not be burnt out by this place. So we'll give it a year.
Yeah.
And then we'll revisit it. I think we said before I was supposed to manage it, but I'm done.
Yeah, we talked about it. I was like, we were going to reno it and then she was going to manage it. And I was like, oh, it's just a business. You just got to set it up. You just got to know who your cleaners are, your backup cleaners, your handyman, you got all these different things. But yeah, no, I think this one, because that's where people, it's both sides of things, right? Because when you own a home, and we had all this crazy snow and there's ice dams and you're like, hey, we're worried about your property and damage and issues and, driveways are flaking up right now and all your
decks are breaking.
Sorry, Brett, if you watch this, it wasn't your fault. And then, but so if you have just your house, then that's tough enough. But when it's not like, it's just different. Like you're you have your funds in the market and stocks and bonds and market takes dips and dives. And all of a sudden it's like, well, your properties, you got to actively manage. It's really not passive income. Right. And you have to be there. You have to be worried about it. You're replacing carpets. You're keeping the property up. And we want to do it good. We take pride. we take pride in our properties. My brother's more of a slumlord. Just kidding. Zach watches this, but no, he's not. But we take pride in our properties. But at the same time, it's like, okay, you got more roofs, and all those roofs have snow on them. It's management, and so it's risk, it's liability. It's more on your brain. And I think a lot of people, like, there's nothing wrong with the simple life. I just say, nope, we will put our money in our retirement accounts. We'll invest a little bit. Careful with your Bitcoin, and owning multiple homes, not really for us. I fully respect that. Sure. But at the same time, like I don't have any regrets. Do you have any regrets in this place?
Now that it's done, no.
And you passed that hump.
But it's taken a while. And I think that's the big thing. Like it does sound so fun to have rental properties and like this VRBO property, but it doesn't come without a lot of sacrifice. And I think that's really important to remember because it's work and you hope that it pays off. And you hope that your kids can learn from it and see the hard work that's put into things. And it doesn't just happen. It's definitely sacrifice. So it's exciting if people want to get into it, but it doesn't just happen overnight.
Yeah, no. And I think that's true. And I don't want to say that with, or what was I thinking of when you were saying that there? I think I totally lost my thought when you were saying that because you said it so well. I think just say, it is just a lot of work. It's not everyone's cup of tea. And it's a family thing. Like we've loved it. We have, and we'll need to remember to record it. Like when we were doing this, right? Hey kids, we're going to do this. Do we feel good about this? When we did our initial, property walk, and they're like, yeah, let's do it. And then you get in these moments of just like the suck in projects. Like just like I messed up on an upstairs, when I was replacing a faucet or some quick angle stops in an upstairs bathroom. And I messed up. I thought I damaged it a little bit and put a bucket under it, say, oh, it's just a slow drip. And then left for the weekend, didn't turn the water off. So again, learn from all the things I do. And I thought I damaged it, but really I just loosened it a quarter turn, right? And then I come in the next Monday morning and I have a bubble in our living room, a massive amount of water. and
sometimes you just have to laugh because if not, you just cry. You have to laugh.
Yeah. And we were like, we'll remember we laughed like right there in the ceiling. Like the ceiling was then open and exposed for weeks.
And we're putting drywall in and I'm balancing on the ladder.
We went on vacation.
For the drywall.
We were trying to, we were leaving for vacation, driving 8 hours the next day. And we're like, oh, just got it done. We got to get this drywall pinned up because the guys got to come in and tape and texture. And we did it. And it's there. It looks beautiful. Thank you, Brandon and team. But no, and I was going to say we, and I was going to say, this isn't a flex or anything. That's where I was going. It's like, It was spring break right now. and we're here in the property, not woe is us. And I know that sounds like weird, but just saying you got to think of hey, your life has to take some changes, for what you end up. It's just where you're heading. And it's balance. It's balance. I don't know. So this has been long enough. But hopefully that helps some people on knowing the good, the bad, the ugly. Hit us up with some comments, like, share, subscribe. That's the first time I think I've said that on the podcast.
But you need an army. Like I just think of our parents, my parents.
Yeah, no, yes.
People that have just really stepped in and just helped. And
Yeah, well, Pam and Paul, they're like my number one podcast fans. They'll love that we name dropped on this. And yes, they've been amazing. And not just for the support of I told you, when you can come here and someone else did something because you think I have to move the football all myself. Yeah. And it was just amazing. But the moral support too. And they're just up here with you oh, feels so good.
Yep. So find a good team to rally around you if you ever get into it.
Yeah, that's not bad. You don't have to go it alone.
Nope.
Have fun with it.
As fun as you can have.
All right, guys. Hope you learned something new. Thanks again for watching and take care out there.